Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we are ranking every expansion pack in the original Sims game. Believe it or not, this is all they had to offer for DLC back in the early 2000s. This right now that you're seeing is in release order. I did not make this tier list, however I did reorder them to be in order of release because I wanted it to be like that. So when I leave the link to this tier list down in the description for you guys to fill out, like the blank one like I always do, it might not be in release order, but I don't really know if you care about that. I played all of these over time. I also started out with the deluxe edition of The Sims. Like that was my first taste of the game. When I received it, I got the deluxe edition, which included the base game and Live Enlarge. And because of that, I think I'm a little biased and also very confused because I didn't realize that The Sims Live Enlarge was included with the deluxe edition. I don't know what I thought was going on. I did not start playing these when I was a T for teen. I was a little bit younger than a T for teen, but it was fine. Live Enlarge not only includes a bunch of new items, as well as I think the genie lamp, but it also includes death. And I think that vibrating heart bed as well. The Grim Reaper did not appear until The Sims Live Enlarge. If I am wrong, please correct me. I'm sure that you guys will. For ranking of Live Enlarge, I'm gonna give it S tier. I have fond memories of it. Next we have House Party. This game, so I got all of these not in release order. I had already had Unleashed when I got House Party. You'll see here in the order of release that Unleashed is much later. I liked House Party. I thought it was okay. I didn't really get the concept, and all of my parties were always terrible. If you recall correctly, when you would host a party in the original Sims and it was bad, a mime would show up and they would ruin everything. If you would host a great party, Drew Carey, like an actual sim of Drew Carey in the American version, I think it was maybe different in international versions, but he would show up and it would be like a really great time because you were having like an awesome party. He would crash it. It was a whole thing. I also forgot to mention that for Live Enlarge, the Tragic Clown first appeared in that, so we have that expansion pack to thank for him. However, House Party, I don't know. I feel like I could live without it, mainly because I didn't really understand the concept of the party system. I don't think it's terrible. I think it's mid B tier. Next, we have Hot Date. Like many who were not quite yet T for teen when they started playing this game, I was not allowed to play Hot Date. It wasn't until I got the complete collection that included Hot Date that I was allowed to play Hot Date. Hot Date didn't even really include anything raunchy. If anything, Live Enlarge was more raunchy because of that vibrating heartbed. But Hot Date really was like the introduction of community lots. Up until now, your Sims would just be at home. They also could not visit other Sims, which is not really a thing that you could do in The Sims 1 or 2. The gameplay just wasn't there. You couldn't do it without mods. We have Hot Date. Very controversial for people who were not quite yet T for teen. I liked it. I remember building restaurants and that was a lot of fun. That was like the main draw, was like the restaurants, because I liked my Sims being able to go out to eat. Hot Date, I think because of the controversy and because of it being like a forbidden fruit for me for so long, A tier. Next we have Vacation. I'm gonna put it in S tier and I'm gonna explain why. There were 3 different biomes that you could visit on Vacation Island. There was the beach, a campground, and a snowy area. We had snow. It would not actively snow anywhere. There were not snowflakes falling from the sky. There was no weather in any of these games, but we did have a snowy area and you could do snowy things there. Think of it like the snowy escape world for The Sims 4, but better. Each sort of like part of Vacation Island had its own stuff that you could do that was unique to it, but it also was similar in that like each one had like a fancy quote unquote resort. So there was like a fancy beach resort, a fancy campground cabin area, and a fancy alpine lodge. And then the other lots, there were either tents or if you were in the snowy area, igloos, and there was more of like community lot based sort of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily stay at overnight. But Vacation also got your Sims out of the house. In Europe, it was called The Sims on Holiday. I believe it was called that elsewhere outside of North America, but I really loved it. I don't remember if you could go on tours. I think you could, but I just remember sending my Sims to resorts. I mainly did the beach one and the snowy one. Because of the snowy area, you know what was really cool is that you could actually get your Sims different types of outerwear, and you could like buy them different swimsuits. I think this pack came with like different swim options for all ages and genders, as well as the newly introduced outerwear stuff. There were other things to do, like you could have them go snowboarding and do snowball fights and stuff, and kids could do a lot, which was great. This also introduced the water slide. Next we have Unleashed, also S tier. It introduced pets. Enough said. It also introduced a whole expansion to the original map of the game. You didn't just have the cul-de-sac of Sim Lane anymore, you had Old Town, which kind of reminds me of Sim Quarter in the Urbs for handheld. Some of the lots are kind of the same, you know, old towny vibe obviously, but also I think geared towards more like Southern Americana. There were like trolleys and streetcars and stuff. You could garden. I think this is what introduced gardening. It was an all-around great pack. Of course, my big draw for it was pets. Just the prospect of having a pet. I didn't really care about anything else. Superstar, however, I never understood that. Some of the items were cool. However, I was terrible at it. So I'm gonna like put it probably in C tier. I feel like it just was user error on my end because I think by the time this came out, I was like 10. I just didn't fully understand how to get your Sims up in the ranking of the superstar, like rankings for their various things, and all of their motives would just decay terribly, and it was just so awful. But the spa items were really cool, and it was neat that you could see a bunch of different celebrities like Avril Lavigne and some of the other people. Finally, we have Making Magic. I mean, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really cool. There were some quote-unquote like occults introduced in this, which were really just Sims with different skins. They didn't really have like powers, but you could be a spellcaster. You could get a wand. Kids could go to Magic Town on their own. I did like that aspect because like you could get kids out of the house by themselves. I think A tier for me. Again, it's like another pack that I didn't fully understand. I'm gonna have to go back and replay all of these. I never really did much with the magic because I didn't know how to get magic coins. I wanted my Sims to move to Magic Town so bad, and you had to have magic coins in order to do that, and I didn't know how to do that. I didn't realize that you had to like practice your spells and duel because again, I was a stupid child, and this was back when the internet was primitive, and I did read the game guide, like the little booklet that came with the disc. Obviously, all that information just went in one ear and out the other for me. So there we have it. We have my definitive ranking of the Sims 1 expansion packs. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you played any of these, what your thoughts are. I know that you can get them all now, the Legacy Edition, on the EA app and on Steam, and I think Epic Games or whatever. I don't know how stable those are. I know that The Sims 2 is still particularly buggy after several patches, and I've seen The Sims 1, people are still having problems and can't even run it. So maybe like your mileage may vary and you may do to try and get it elsewhere. Like I said, I am going to leave this down in the description, the empty one, so you can fill it out yourselves if you want to. And also credit goes to whoever made this because it was not me. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments, feedback, and suggestions down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to, you can also become a member where you will get early access to all of my videos. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.